Hey guys, so it's been a little over 2 days now since I put the Gorilla Glue epoxy on this and inside it, so to have it all taped together. Did tape it all shut so it has like pressure into it. It is holding up. I don't know if that's just the tape though holding together, but this is gonna be my first time taking all the tape off of it after I glued it. And right now my wood burner is warming up. I do have this PLA. This is the one that my brother's printer used to use, but his printer crapped out, so he got a newer one. So he has, this one is an old size and like smart people stuff for the 3D printer. And this one wouldn't work, and it's been dried out for a little bit, so it kept, oh no, that's what it was. The filament kept breaking when it was trying to print, so he gave it to me. So now I can use this filament to fill in the seams. Like I can go like this and put it over it and blend it in together. I'm going to take all the tape off, use my wood burner, try to fill in all the seams all the way across this thing. And if I need to, I can also fill in the little gap because I can see the wood tiny bit right through there, like right where the handle meets the hammer. I'm gonna do that, and then after that, probably not in this video, probably not right now because it is nighttime, so probably later on I will use my sander and I will sand all of this, try to make it as smooth as possible, and try to like get rid of any like pieces that stick up a tiny bit. But that's what I'm gonna do so far. But as right now, I'm going to start taking all these tape off. Yep, last piece of tape. Let's see if it holds up. Here we go. And it's pretty good. I don't want to try forcing it apart or try to twist it or whatever, but it works. So now what I'm going to do, the burner warmed up a little bit, is I'm gonna melt the plastic off, fill in the seam, and continue that. Now what I'm going to do is find the end right here. Probably just cut off a piece right here. And I'm gonna put this aside. So now what I'm going to do is melt the hammer. Sorry, just fixing the wire. Melt in here first, so it goes like a crater, and then I'm gonna put this inside it, and then I'll try to blend it and smooth it all together, just so these pieces bond, and then this can also go over to get rid of the seam. I am gonna have to let that sit a little bit. It is starting to get too warm where it's starting to sink down. So now I can just rotate this and continue to work down the side. What I'll probably do is I'll probably just take extra filament like this. I'll wrap it all the way around it as like a circle, like a loop, and then I'll melt it onto it and try to like fill it in. Trying to also keep everything flat and not make it look warped, and on top of that, not trying to ruin any of the symbols that are all around the hammer and stuff. So when you're doing this, you gotta be cautious. Alright, there we go. It's done. I am gonna have to hit it with the sander later though. Alright, and I can't really work on any more all the way around it because when you melt or warm up PLA, it becomes soft all around. Not just, say I'm working in this tiny area, like say I'm working right there. If I melt right there, warm up right there, it affects all around it, like at least a quarter size around where you're working. So I can't really do anything around all this because this is all soft. So I'll have to wait till it either cools down and becomes hard again, or just wait for a different day to work on it a bit more. And now I'm gonna try to fill in this little seam or gap that's all the way around the handle. Actually, what if I just melt it downwards? But I'd like to ask you guys to like and subscribe to my channel so I know people are liking my content. And if you guys want, you can leave in comments and I might choose what project to do next based on what you guys want me to do. But I do have a couple things I still want to work on, but I can postpone what I want to do and see what you guys want me to do next, and I can go from there. But yeah, thank you everybody that has been returning to my videos. Really makes me feel appreciated and my content is being enjoyed. I know I can't say it enough. It really makes me happy when you guys comment on my videos, so I know that people are actually watching the whole thing and not just clicking on it just to say it viewed and stuff. And also, if you guys read the description, there's 2 people that I'm doing shout out for. The first one is my brother, because he keeps printing out me props like this, and his is Untrollable 321, I believe. He doesn't have any videos posted at the moment. He will be soon, I believe, or I don't know 100%. And the second person is, I kept forgetting to put him in there, but I did just put him in on my last video I posted, part 2 of this hammer. Gabriel 3141592. He did make the music beat to my intro because I didn't have one at the time. So a huge shout out to him. If you guys could go on his YouTube channel and subscribe to him as well. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think he does take other people's things if you want to beat, or if you need something from him to make Photoshop, not Photoshop, anything to do with videos and stuff, or making any kind of music or whatever. He does do a bunch of beats and stuff. So if you guys could just go into his channel and either subscribe to him or watch some of his videos and see if you like it, and then subscribe. Just need to use my sander, and I can sand this whole entire thing. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole thing. I probably will, just to get a first layer off of everything. But I'll use my sander. I'll go all down this side, this side, this side, this side, all the way around. Then I'll go here, do the entire thing. I probably will skip the handle because I don't want flat spots on it. So here's Thors Hammer. I actually don't know if I told you guys before I put all this together. I did weigh it up. I did weigh this hammer as the entire thing like it is now on a scale. It read 4 pounds 11 ounces, so it's close to 5 pounds, which I wanted. I was actually thinking about doing 5 pounds total for added onto this. But thank you guys for tuning in to my channel, and I'll see you later. Last time I left off, I was touching up all the detail, trying to get everything all smooth and flat and everything. I have been working it off camera a little bit here and there, like a couple minutes each day. I have been using my wood burner, I've been using my sander, and I gotten it pretty flat on most of the spots. There's still a little bit where it goes up a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna, you'll be able to see it unless you're inspecting it, going like this, getting a level or whatever on it. So as of right now, it is done, smoothness. I do have to I am gonna go over it with my sander real quick, but then after that it should be done, and I can start spray paint a primer on it. Then I can tape all the spots and do certain colors for certain spots and go on from there, and then I can paint this. I did also go to Goodwill, and I just bought a cheap little leather belt, and I did cut it up into a piece. It's not perfectly straight, I know that, but I cut it up so it's enough where I think the handle would look good. So that's what the handle is looking like. I did buy a belt. I cut it up a little bit, and what I'm planning on doing is, after everything's all done and painted and everything, I'm going to take these two ends, I'll put it through the handle, and then I'm gonna glue here and here together. I might sew it, I'm not 100% sure. And then I'm gonna rotate it and stick both of those ends underneath the handle, underneath this piece right here, so both seams are covered. And then I'm gonna glue it in there, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna glue it up, like put glue on the edge right here, and glue that up right there, same on this side, and I use like a rubber band or whatever to hold it together, just so it looks up, goes up like this, instead of it being like a big circle, like just going like sitting like that or whatever. Sometimes it goes to the side. I think it looks better if the handle is like upwards more, like that, and then it would be done. But I'm gonna attach this piece once everything is done on the hammer, like the painting and the sanding and priming and all that stuff. So right now this is just gonna stay aside, and now I'm just gonna quickly go through and sand it a little bit with this. I'll do it with the recording with, and now I'm just gonna use my little brush real quick, get all the pieces off, get off my table as well. Sorry for the sirens in the background, the windows are open. And then I'm gonna check it real quick. My wood burner is still a little bit hot, I just used it. It's a little piece that is sticking on. It's smooth to the touch, it's a little bit rough, but I think it's good. Everything's flat. I think everything will be good. I'm gonna give this guy, Drydex, another try, and I'm gonna, not now, but later I'll open it, and I'll go over the seams, just all the way right down here, down this, all the way around there, just to like try to get that flat. Or I'll just put my whole primer on. This is the primer I actually use, or I've been using. Not sponsored. I just use this, go over it. I'm gonna go over it a couple different times, and then I'll hand sand the entire piece to see what's sticking up a little bit, and try to get everything as flat as possible. But as of right now, this is done. I noticed that my hammer, I did drop it, and I didn't notice anything at the time. There were small cracks on this side, and same with this side. So I did go over it with my wood burner, but it kinda, cause this is a thin layer, it melted down into the actual, where the infill lines are. Only on this side is not that bad, it shows a little bit. But I am gonna use the Drydex again. I'm gonna use extra filament as like a putting knife, and I'm gonna scoop some on. I'll put a flat layer on this side, and then I'll do all around the seams. And then once this is done drying, I can prop it up, and then I can do the other side. But I'm just gonna try this out first. I don't know if this is gonna work because it kind of is flimsy, so I'm just gonna try it real quick. Oh yeah, this works perfect. Alright, and then I'm gonna let this dry. Once this dries, it'll turn white. Then I can go over it with the sandpaper, smooth it out, and I'll have the things sealed. And now I'm gonna go and do all the way around the side as well. But when you're using this stuff, you want to go put not a large amount of it, but you want to put a good amount on it so it builds up over. Like say like I'm filling this crack, I want to build up like a mountain type thing, so when I sand it down, it has all the crack filled in still, so then it would just be flat straight across. Alright, sorry for the technical difficulties. The camera died and I didn't know, so I already did a little bit of the hammer beforehand, but I'll just go over what I did. All I did was just grab sandpaper. I used 220, and I'm just smooth sanding the stuff where I use the dry decks, and that's what it starts off as pink. I started smoothing that off, sanding that to get it as smooth as possible, and I did it pretty good. Like all on the sides, it's all pretty smooth. There is a couple parts that actually didn't stick well, like right there, and then a little bit right here and right here. So that's all I'm gonna really do. The whole thing is that I didn't even know I was missing, that the camera died, so can't really redo that whole part. So I am gonna be applying a little bit more of this on, and then I have to wait till it dries, and then I can sand it again. Then I can spray the whole thing with the primer that I have, which is this one. I'm gonna spray it, sand it down, and then once everything is coated in this, then I can start to, or after I sand it all, then I can start going to add the spray paints to this. But I actually do not have any of this spray paint colors that go to this hammer yet. I have to run to the store later to buy the sandpaper, or not sandpaper, the spray paint for it. And then I can start like taping the handle up to do like one piece at a time and all that. Before you use it, you just mix it all up, make sure it's all smooth and everything. I don't really want to get my whole hand dirty, so I'm just using a skewer that I snapped in half. I have a couple different ones. Then I have some toothpicks mixed in with there and stuff just to have on hand, just if I need it whenever. And I am going to do what I did last time, that technique with the filament, because I actually kind of like that, because I don't have a putty knife or putting knife. So basically made my own, which is right here. It does have some pieces, some stuff still on it, so I'm just gonna use the sandpaper real quick and just scrape that off. The reason why I'm sanding this off is so when I apply the new dry wax that hasn't been touched by this, when I go like this to do this, it doesn't have chunks on here, so it like makes lines or gashes or whatever. Sorry about earlier, I forgot I had the fan on. I don't know if you could hear me because the camera was kind of close to it, but I'll try to edit it out in the video. If I can't get to it, then I'll try to do voiceover for it, but I don't know if 100% if that's gonna work out. So everything is done on this. I just sanded off. I forgot to hit record, but earlier or yesterday I recorded saying that I just need to let the dry decks that I put on it dry, then I can sand it flat and start everything. Forgot to hit record, but I did just sand off everything, so now everything is just about perfectly flat. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change location with the camera. I'm going to set up like a little spray booth, and there's gonna be noise in the background because I have the fan running so I can blow the fumes outside. And I'm just gonna spray paint this. I'm just gonna use the primer first. I'm probably just gonna hold it like this, spray paint just the hammer itself, this whole piece, and then once this is dried, then I can take this and then I can spray this whole top part, and then we'll go from there, and then I'll sand it all and do all that stuff. Alright, so the hammer is done being spray painted. I did just do the top, all of it, all the way around, just so that's completely covered, and then I can go over and sand it once it dries. I just missed the spot. Where was it? Right there. So now I can go over it later once it dries, touch up any spots that I missed, and I can flip it over and get the bottom side of the hammer, and then same on the other thing, and then I can flip the hammer over and do the actual handle itself. But as of right now, that's gonna be done, and that's gonna be drying. Once that's done drying, then I'll sand this, get this looking good, and then I'll move on to this, and then the bottom side of the hammer. Alright, so last time we left off, we put 2 coats of the primer. So on the ground. We put 2 coats of the sandable primer on the hammer. I am going to be doing this part later. First, I'm going to use my sandpaper. I'm not going to use my the tool that I have, the orbital sander, I'm just gonna do hand sand just so I can try to get it smooth, not to like mess up anything. I'm gonna try to get this whole thing smooth, and then I'll go over it again with the primer a couple more times to build it up so I can sand it to make it even more smoother if I still miss some. Once this whole piece is done of sanding and priming, then I'll flip it over and then I'll do the same thing to this side. The reason why I'm saving this for last is because it is going to take a while, because it does have the little ridges that go up for each piece of the handle. Alright, so I forgot to hit record on the camera. I just did it a little bit ago. I added probably, I want to say 8 or 9, probably 10 coats of this primer. I'll put the links in the description for everything. This is just about empty, so I'm probably gonna have to run out to grab some more. So the hammer part, this whole piece, I've done quite a few coats on. Probably gonna have to do a couple more and sand it because it's still layer lines, like bare, like little tiny marks. And then same with where I added the dry dacks. There's still some marks on that, so I'll have to go through that. But the handle, I just did its first layer, so now I'm gonna go over and do a couple more layers onto it. What's up, guys? So just got out of work and I ran to the store a couple days ago and I found what I thought of I could use it for my spray painting. I just went out and bought a turntable. It's meant for in the kitchen, and you just put spices on it, like, so this turntable is like for spices and stuff. It just sits on it. It's supposed to be in the kitchen, and you just turn it. It has like a little pivot underneath it, and it just keeps turning. So I decided, I bought that when I bought those, and I just went to, where did I get this? I got actually both of these at Walmart. So what I can use is I can just put this down on the table because it spins, and I can put my prop or whatever I'm using to spray paint at the time. Like, for example, it's going to be the Thors Hammer that I'm spray painting. Not actually spray painting the whole thing. I'm still priming it, sanding it, and all that stuff. But I can use this to turn it around just so I can spray on the table like this, and then it would be all set and it can just dry and so on and keep going like that. This is what it looks like for me. It's a little bit brighter, but I can't really see anything because the box is all painted this primer, so can't see anything except for that white because that's the dry decks. So I'm just going to be using my little headlamp that I got off Amazon. I'll put that in the link in the description as well so I can light it up. So now when I'm looking at it, I can see all of the whole piece when I look at it a certain spot. And if you look at the handle, you can still see the print lines a little bit, and I can't really get into that to sand it that well. So I did pick up a filler primer. It's gray though, so I can spray the handle to try filling in these cracks. And it's also sandable, I believe. Oh, it is not sandable, but it's still can use that. And then I also, because my hand started cramping up and stuff, so I bought this little sprayer, so it snaps, the can snaps in there, and it just pull the trigger and it just sprays, so I can just go tss, 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 tss. And yeah, so I'm just gonna move you guys real quick and start spray painting just the handle coat. So then I can just go like this and just spray paint it so I don't have to touch it with my hand, and then once it's done drying I can just leave it here as is. And I'm gonna get the primer. And also got a mask so I can wear when I'm spray painting and or working with melting the plastic and everything. Just so I'm not breathing in the chemicals, because I used to have that fan in the background and stuff, and I'd have all the windows cracked open and stuff so I could the fumes and everything would go outside, but I still kept smelling it a little bit. So I just got a little mask which I'm putting on right now. I just put the mask on. I don't know why. I am gonna sound different because I have it on, but I don't know why the light is flashing like this. So I'll try to like change it. Oh, there we go. I guess it was just too bright or whatever. now I can start putting at least one coat of this filler primer on, just because I do want to try to get rid of some of these lines so it doesn't stand out that well. And we will find out. But yeah, so all you do is take the can, clips onto this little ledge right here, make sure it's pointed out the right way, and you just slide it on like so, right on that ledge. So now when I pull the trigger like that, it would click right there. It would click down and push it. So now I'm going to try doing the first coat.